And so some of those posts are specific about my defense of the superintendent. I still believe in my heart that there was a potential violation of the Open Meeting Act, I think led by Monica Ryan. And so I am frustrated by that. So my community knows that. That's why I've stated it publicly. I'm not going, I said in one of my posts, if you're going to use my social media post, Ms. Ryan, that the only way to address the dark is by shining light on it. So I'm going to expose everything I possibly can to make sure the community knows how chaotic and dysfunctional and toxic things are right now in this district. And again, I will reaffirm my right to free speech. And, you know, I feel that this is literally an effort for Ms. Ryan to retaliate. I also want it noted, the item does not have her name attached to the agenda item, but it is her agenda item. So when I submitted my investigation, Ms. Kenoyer and I requested it together. That's transparency. It makes it look like this was only board action that brought this item forward. Only Ms. Ryan did in retaliation to my investigation to concerns about her conduct and abuse of power. So that's all I have to say. I don't need to belabor the point, but I do want the community to know that that is what my feeling is regarding this item. And I think I'm torn. I think an investigation is meaningless into social media posts, because again, that's the bulk of it all. But if you want to spend $350 an hour to investigate my Facebook post, that's a waste of taxpayer dollars. So I would just say that, in my mind, does not make sense. That's all I have to say.
Any other discussion on 5C before we move on to 6A? Oh, go ahead, Ms. Kenoyer.
I find it real interesting that all of these allegations are leveled at Mr. Macias when I, too, called out the potential violation of Open Meetings Act at the same meeting. And so it does tend to make me believe that the obvious friction between Mr. Macias and Ms. Ryan has led to this particular action. I absolutely believe there was a violation of the Open Meetings Act. I called it out. That should be investigated as well. And calling something out that is a violation of law is not something that should be taken in a retaliatory manner, as I believe this is. So this is not something that I can support.
Go ahead, Ms. Stanford.
Okay. Having Facebook posts on the agenda is so ironic to me, because we went through years of tussling over inflammatory Facebook posts, and in that course of the years, there were a couple times when different members brought up the possibility of censuring Ms. Ryan for the inflammatory Facebook posts that she would make from pretty often. I was never in favor of censuring Ms. Ryan for her Facebook posts, because that's basically freedom of speech. I did ask, and several of us asked her to tone it down some, which she was basically, you know, I have a right to write what I want, which I guess is true, legally true. There was one particularly inflammatory Facebook post that had a tremendous firestorm in the community over teacher cuts to their pay while we were giving an increase to administration, and it really created a firestorm. We were busy trying to offset that with our independent Facebook posts, and in the course of all that...
I'm sorry, point of order. What does this have to do with the investigation into Mr. Macias?
It's offsetting.
Correct. We will have to stay on topic, because that is not listed on the agenda. So could your comments will have to do with 5C, please.
Right, I'm saying it has to do with Facebook posts. I'm saying if we're going to take an action against Mr. Macias for Facebook posts, then we have to be consistent. We never did that in the past, and even though one created a death threat that that actually came to the district, and the response to that when we were played it was, well, some people just feel that way. So that's why I'm stating, in view of our past responses to Facebook posts, I would not be able to support now suddenly taking severe action against someone's posts when we haven't done it in the past. So as you would say, precedents, we have set a precedent from the way we've dealt with it in the past. So that's why I would not be able to support this now.
Okay, any other comments before we move on to 6A and all of the items in 6? No? All right, do I have a motion on 6A? I believe,
I move that the board confirm the superintendent's authority to initiate an investigation regarding employee complaints.
Second.
okay, I have a motion by
Second.
Ms. Canoyer and a second by Ms. Stanford. Any discussion? And that's good with you, Dr. Toppin, right? As we discussed? Okay, all right. So those employee complaints against trustee Macias will now be handled by the superintendent. All right,
For the record, I think it's one complaint, not complaints.
no, sir, 2 so far, so,
2?
yes, sir.
Okay.
That's what the attorney said.
And again, just for my point, I think that the superintendent should have authority to then look into them. So,
All right, we will, oops. Hold on. It's not, Mr. Russ, my thing's not thinking.
He just moved it
Oh,
forward.
there we go. Okay, you can go ahead and cast your vote. All right, motion passes 7-0. On to agenda item 6B. Did we have a motion on that?
I move that the board initiate an investigation on abuse of board authority and employee retaliation by Board President Monica Ryan. I further move that the board authorize Walsh Gallegos, Kyle Robinson, and De Los Santos to conduct the investigation.
And I second that. Motion by Ms. Canoyer, seconded by Ms. Ryan. Any discussion on that? All right, we are going to proceed to vote. Oops, I'm sorry, I thought it, there we go, motion passes 7-0. All right, moving on to agenda item 6C. Again, after multiple complaints from my colleagues regarding these violations of law, not just me and not just social media, there are other documents that will be provided to the investigator. I move that the board initiate an investigation regarding violations by trustee Jose Macias. I further move that the board authorize JCA Law to conduct the investigation.
Point of order.
Just a second, I don't have a second yet, so just
Okay.
give me a moment.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Ryan, a second by Ms. Poteet. You have a point of
Or
order, ma'am?
maybe a question then.
Okay, now we can have discussion. Yeah.
Okay, because it's not specified investigation in 6C.
Correct, any possible actions, there's many different actions that could come out of that. So I am, as we discussed back there, initiation of
Moving toward
investigation.
investigation.
Correct,
Okay.
but as opposed to immediately reporting to law enforcement or anything else, an investigation first. Okay, any other discussion of that? All right, we will proceed to vote. All right, that motion passes only 4-3. Okay, we'll move on to 6D. Do I have a motion on that?
I move that the board confirm the superintendent's authority to assign PIA requests to law firms.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, motion by Ms. Canoyer, second by Ms. Stanford. Any discussion of that? All right, we'll proceed to vote. All right, motion passes 7-0. So there being no further business, this meeting is adjourned at 12:45 PM. Thank you all.
Your setup wants Opera GX, and you're holding it back.
You never respected me.